Hey y'all, Joseph R. Long, the sumo-sized ginger coming at you today. And today, Urban Punk, Chapter 2. Sarah squinted as the lift doors opened, attempting to protect her light-sensitive eyes. She managed to cover her clip-on shades with the dark brown sunglasses before a headache could form. She stepped out of the elevator, speaking to her new partner. Please tell me you have a car. As hot as it's been this week, it would be nice to drive around in an air-conditioned vehicle rather than walk. I have the greatest air conditioning in the world, rolling down the windows, the fat man said as he followed her. I have a stormy blue basic 2003 Kia Rio. Air conditioning is not standard. Sarah wrinkled her nose at the answer. She took a drink from her travel mug as they crossed the lobby before replying, Well, that's just shitty. I mean, what's the point of having a car without air conditioning? She pushed through one of the rotating doors, half wondering if her large partner would get stuck. Riley was starting to have problems catching his breath, but he still smiled as he said, Better gas mileage, and I'm doing my part to protect the planet. They stepped out into the blazing sun, the glare from the car windows blinding the small woman. They caused her to rub at her temples as halos filled her vision. She wished she had a baseball bat with her so she could bust out the glass of every vehicle around before they moved on. Upon further reflection, she wished it was cloudy, so at least then she could go about her day headache-free. But as her mother always told her, if wishes were wings, pigs would fly. They walked to the parking garage down the street, the shadows from inside the building a blessing to Sarah's sore eyes. She still didn't remove her shades. Outside of the parking area blazed like fire to her eyes. I hate being light-sensitive. It gives a whole new meaning to the term burning daylight, she said as she walked around Riley's car and climbed in. Riley asked her, What do you mean? Sarah considered this man sitting behind the steering wheel next to her, someone she'd known for only about 15 minutes. She considered opening up, talking about the kids who would shine bright light in her eyes just to bully her, but decided she didn't want to open up to him that way. She fell back on the old staple. Anger. Is that any of your fucking business? She snapped, glaring at him. Riley winced as he pushed the keys into the ignition. Fine, don't tell me. You're the one that started talking. Riley started the car, backing up and pulling out of the parking garage. Sarah wondered if she'd gone too far, and part of her wanted to apologize, but the other honestly didn't care about his wounded feelings. She went to take a drink from her coffee, frowning in disappointment when she realized her cup was empty. A familiar ache behind her eyes gave her a clue as to what caused her foul mood. I'm sorry for snapping. I need more caffeine. Pull into a stand for me, will you? Only if you buy me one, too. She nodded, and Riley started scanning the road, looking for a coffee stand. Being in the Northwest, they didn't have to drive far. He pulled the key up to a double-sided stand, both windows busy. The car's radio started to play a cover of Don't Fear the Reaper by the band Him. Sarah slowly started to nod her head to the music as they waited for the other cars ahead of them. This was easily one of her favorite songs, and she began to lose herself in the music. They pulled up to the window as the car in front of them sped off, and Sarah stopped nodding. She respected baristas and wanted to give her undivided attention. Until she saw what the barista was wearing. Pasties and a barely there bikini. Sarah almost screamed at her partner, disappointed he would come to one of these tainted stands, but she managed to clamp down on her ire. The scantily clad young woman stood in the window, leaning over to flash her cleavage at Riley in the driver's seat. She wore her brunette hair in a pixie cut and had a voice that reminded Sarah of a young child. Sarah felt nothing but contempt for the tart. The woman asked, What can I get you to today? The barista gave a slight girlish giggle, working the fat man over, who was seated at eye level with her prominent breasts. Sarah shook her head a little, glaring at Riley. She was trying to decide if he was intentionally testing her anger or not. She decided not, since he was oblivious, his eyes focused on this young woman's plunging cleavage. Really? Of all the coffee stands in the world, you bring me to a bikini one? Are you some kind of fucking idiot, or just special? The barista backed away, nervously saying, I'll give you two a moment to figure out your order. Sarah continued to glare at the man seated next to her as he turned his attention to her. She considered whipping her dildo out just to smack him upside his head. You bring a woman to one of these slut stands? Riley took a deep breath as if calming himself. Remember what the boss said. You're supposed to calm down and listen to me, he said, his voice even and steady. Fuck you. Just because you tell me to suck your dick, it doesn't mean I'm going to. Sarah could see his masked eagerness to turn his head back to the barista. Anger is not going to make this situation any better. Now just order a fucking coffee, please, he said. This was the first coffee stand I saw. Most of the time I skip these kinds of places, so we won't come back here, okay? He shook an admonishing finger at her as he continued, and if you drink this one like you did the rest of your coffee, it's gonna ruin your girlish figure. Sarah's anger threatened to boil over. Again, she considered her dildo, but she managed to gain control of her emotions and opinions in time to stop herself from slapping the smile off her partner's face with the rubber glove. Fine, she said in a clipped voice, far from calm. Just this once for you, I will calm down. But next time you talk about my girlish figure, I'm going to shove this coffee cup right up your ass. Whatever. Just be nice, Riley said, motioning the barista over. Yeah, I'll take a mocha breve for myself. He turned to Sarah, waiting to hear what she wanted. She handed over her mug, saying, just fill that with however many mocha breves it will take. The barista left, preparing to fulfill their order. That gave Sarah time to stew as she went back to nodding along to the music. The scantily clad woman returned a few minutes later, carrying Sarah's mug and a coffee for her partner. That'll be $25.65. Bodies by Drowning Pool started its opening lines, and Sarah felt her ire ramp up. She couldn't contain herself any longer. You want to know why I hate these places? She said, staring menacingly straight into the nervous eyes of the barista. First of all, she pointed at the woman with one finger. Chicks and dudes that act like you should be in brothels, which should be legalized and regulated. You want to flaunt your body? You want to be hoogled over? Then do so, but in a place where the people can at least reap the benefits of you taking all their money with your fake-ass tits. The barista interrupted. Oh, these? These are real. Sarah had to fight to maintain control. Second, nudity and coffee do not go together. It's unsanitary. How many pussy hairs fell into my cup as you prepared it? You're only wearing pasties on top and a scrap of fabric barely wide enough to cover your damn cut. The woman interrupted again. Oh, you don't have to worry about that. I shave. Sarah rolled her eyes as anger overwhelmed her ability to control. Third, if you want a fucking tip, don't interrupt me. The little woman reached to her back, pulling out the $3.57 she carried. And last, give me all the money in the register. Maybe this'll teach you not to be such a flaky little airhead. You're joking, right? The woman asked, fear flickering in her eyes. Do I look like I'm joking? Show me the fucking money. Sarah considered for a second, then changed her orders. She wanted to prove a point to the bimbo. Wait, I see a coat stand with a sweatshirt on it. First go put that piece of shit on, then bring me the money. The barista ran to the coat stand, hastily tugging the sweatshirt over herself before running to the registers and emptying them. She stuffed the money into a paper bag before handing it over. There, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to pay my way through college. Please don't hurt me. Sarah rolled her eyes, disgust filling her. Find another fucking job. Do something you could be proud of and be successful at, not this. You're better than this, and you know it, you stupid twat. She reached her foot over, stomping down on Riley's foot, sending the car off. When they were a bit down the road, the fat man pulled over, glaring at this impudent and unapologetic woman. What in the fuck was that? I tried to warn you when we pulled up to the window, Sarah replied coolly, counting the money in the bag. $350. Reminds me of the Loch Ness Monster from South Park. You ever watch that show? He needed $350. You think this is a fucking game? If you're gonna pull some shit like that, warn me, damn it, Riley said before pulling back onto the road. I mean, that's the kind of shit Ross was talking about back in his office. He's right when he says you're exactly like I used to be. He reached over, taking the money from her. I'm keeping this for my trouble. What? I had fun. Besides, it's just money. The materialistic nature of the world is destroying humanity anyways. I just do what I do for shits and giggles, she said with a grin and a nonchalant shrug of the shoulders, then sipped from her refilled mug. At least the coffee was good.